Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. We're going to talk with the coach, Dave Pimper, about Social Security claiming, one of our most popular webinars by far. I think because of the value that a lot of producers see in having a good base knowledge of Social Security claiming and how it works and how they can use it in their business. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today. Dave will go over kind of some key elements of Social Security claiming. He will take some time to talk a little bit about how you can use that information to go back to your clients and prospects, and then it will also talk a little bit more at length about how you can then display that uh, knowledge to gain even additional clients and prospects to do business with. So great webinar. My name is Steve Murray. I'm with Insurance Agency Marketing Services since 1994. The president of the organization, and I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this webinar with Dave, most Tuesdays at 10 and some Fridays at 10, where we talk about some sales approach or marketing and sales approach together that can help you gain more prospects. So this is one of my favorites. Social Security claiming has been, I would say, from a seminar and radio standpoint, some of our most prolific opportunities for our producers to get in front of clients. And some of the most successful and can bring those clients to business. So great webinar for you today. I'm going to go over a couple of things. I'm going to whip through them really quick because I want to make sure, and I know we've got a lot of folks on with us today that are a little bit more veteran with us, which I appreciate. For the new folks, you know that we have the new producer builders, very solid way to gain some extra reward for your business that you do with us in your first 180 days, your first 6 months of contract with us. You can see before you on the screen what those are. I'll mention to you all, as I always do, that if you're working on something, if you've got something that you would rather sub in for some of that, you can see about what the financial commitment on our part would be. We'd be glad to make that same financial commitment to another program if you think it's something that you would like to try or already trying and having some success with. So that's kind of the takeaway from that slide for folks that have just recently joined the IAMS team. We've got a lot of business builders that I want to make you aware of right out of the gate that are available throughout your time with us here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. One of them is the RPM program. We, like you, we build our business with referrals, and part of that is we want to reward you for your referrals. So if you mentioned to a colleague that you like the service and they decide to give us a call, or you want us to even call them, we're glad to do that as well. If they decide to contract with us, you're going to get a check for $50. If beyond that, then they start doing business, which most do, then you're going to get a bonus rewarded based on the business that they do. And that's nothing that comes out of their pocket. That's a bonus that we really take out of our ad pile and pay out to you for business that they do. And those are some of the biggest checks that we send right now, and some of my favorite checks to send. Believe me, I'd much rather send those checks to you than a magazine or an email provider or some another outlet that we use for advertising, because we get better business from referrals, and it puts money in your hands, which is always good for you and good for us. So another way that you can get some money put in your hands is through our program, marketing reimbursement. The simplicity of it is that when you do business with IAMS, money goes into your marketing reimbursement account, and that account grows and grows and grows. And then anytime that you spend money on marketing of your business, then we'll match that dollar for dollar. So you can basically double the value of your marketing spend. So great way to build your business. Again, good for us, good for you. Great back office support here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide other than to say that when I talk to our competitors, we are recognized in the industry for the support that we give our agents. And that's from the point at which they call in and they're going to get somebody answering the phone live. You get that live answer when somebody calls in here, when you call in, so that you know that we're going to take care of what you need taken care of. And that live answer is going to come within a couple of rings. We're not wasting your time here. We know that your needs are valuable, and we want to make sure that your needs get met. So part of that is then having that great back office support along the way, and we're going to be dedicated to that. We've got a great team. That's something that we're Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We're the last word in our name is services, and so we want to make sure that you've got everything that you need to be successful, and make sure that you're happy with what you're getting from IAMS. And so if you have any questions on that, or if there's ever an issue, I hope that you'll call me. I don't get a lot of calls on that, so I know we do a great job. One of the things we put in place a couple of years ago, our timing was really great on this. We got lucky, as we have a single sign-on for Firelight. So all of you know that most companies in the annuity space, many in the life space, use Firelight as their e-app solution. Now you can go to the IAMS website and access all of those. And so if you go to the website under support, you'll see register for Firelight if you're not registered. That's about a 3-minute process. I'd almost recommend that you call the team here at IAMS and say, hey, walk me through that, and we'll get you registered, get you approved right away. So that instead of having to go to 20 or 30 websites for your e-apps, you can just now come to ours, pick the carrier, pick the product, and then you can do it all in one convenient location. There's some good things about that are not quite as obvious, besides the ease of the Firelight or the e-app solution, is also if you're doing, let's say you've got one client, you're using a couple carriers, you can go and do a cut and paste on that and copy that information from one to the other, so you don't have to re-input it. That's a beautiful thing. If you're going from carrier website to carrier website, obviously you have to re-input that. So we'll save you a lot of time there. If for some reason you have to redo an application, it sure is nice. If some reason a year from now you're going to do an app on a client that's already in the database with another carrier, then that's information is already there. It helps us too, because that automatically populates a lot of the information into the system so that we can better serve you. So there's a lot of really good reasons to use e-app. If you're not using e-apps, I really think you're missing a boat. And I only say that because I'm as technology challenged as anyone, but I get great feedback from our agents after they've done their second or third one. They're like, man, this is the best thing ever in terms of time savings and professional appeal to your client. So something to consider if you're not already there. We make it really super easy here at IAMS to do that. We've got a great advertising team here for you. It says Creative Marketing Solutions, but I want you to just think of that as, here at IAMS, we've got an advertising team, and what they do is they help IAMS agents day in, day out with the advertising part of their business. Whether you need a PowerPoint brushed up, or you need business cards, or want to get your Facebook set up right, or you want to have a website that looks professional and is tracking things the way that you need them tracked, that's what they do there. And they do it all day long for people just like you. So they're very good at it, and they're going to do it. We do everything that we can pro bono. If we can do anything to help you grow your business, that's good for us. There's some time commitments and some financial commitments that have to be made sometimes. We're going to do that at cost. So we're going to make it as easy as we can for you. And a lot of times guys and gals use their marketing reimbursement to pay any of those costs. So we're going to work hard with you. We've got agents that come here and get some film done for we've got a great setup here at IAMS to make sure that your needs are met. We can, if you can do a good film, we can get that posted for you, clean it up and get it posted for you. There's nothing that we can't do from an advertising standpoint to help you grow your business. Great website. If you haven't looked at it, call your sales director up and say, hey, this is what I do. These are the tools that I could use. They'll walk you through the website, show you what's on there, show you where to find it, save you a ton of time rather than you just going in and browse. But the first step is you got to go and register. So go to imsinc.com, register, we'll approve you, and off to the races you go. And then let's have the sales director help you with finding the right spot for yourself. Retirement Analyzer, really a great little product. If you're not using, this isn't the only product like this, but it's basically built so you can go in with the client, put a lot of information in, and then on the back end get a nice report out. You can see the questions that it can answer for you, and that's just a kind of a sampling. And you can see a sample of what they look like when they come out. So their output is really solid, really good. And the input that you need to do to get that output is easier and better than most that we've seen. So that's why we chose Retirement Analyzer. That's why we support our agents using the Retirement Analyzer. So we pay them a fee for access for our producers at a certain level. And so if you're doing business with IAMS, we're going to take care of, you're not going to have to pay the 70 or 80 bucks a month to have access to that. We're going to take care of that cost for you. Even if you've just joined us and you want to try it out, or maybe you're not doing business with us or thinking about joining us, but you want to try it out, give Marcus or David a call and say, hey, Steve said I could have a shot and look at that. They'll give you access to that so that you can take a peek and see how it works. Maybe even give you a couple of pointers on how to use it quickly and easily. Retirement Analyzer team actually has a lot of great videos, a lot of great online assistance that they can make available to you. So if you're not using a program like that, and you want to look at one of the better ones out there, give the team here a call and say, hey, I'd like access to the Retirement Analyzer. IAMS Wealth Management is our RIA. If you're considering becoming an IAR, maybe you're already an IAR and not happy with your RIA, I wish you'd give us a call. In fact, I'm going to shoot this poll up really quick. It's not really a huge decision here for you to make. If you are interested at all in an RIA, or becoming an IAR, or maybe you need a new RIA, put yes on this poll. We'll get you a 5 or 7 minute conversation with Charles or Sarah or Duncan, and they'll walk you through maybe the reasons that you ought to consider IAMS Wealth Management, or maybe the reasons you ought to consider getting your Series 65 now and the ways they can help you to do that. Maybe you're already an IAR and what you're looking for is better payouts or lower fees. I get really great feedback from our producers on that. I know our fees are relatively low, which is great, but what I hear more than anything else is the value, what you get for your fees is better than most. So obviously you get your E&O, you get access to a database, you get a website, things that can help. We want to help you in that business, and so we know that there's some base level things that you need. We make that all part of our fee structure, and yet our fees are still very competitive. The bigger thing that I hear is from a payout standpoint, we've got really good payouts. So our payouts are just a skosh over 1%, a little bit over 1%, and we don't run that through a grid. So you're not getting to get 90, 80, 70, or 60% of 1%. You're going to get that one or a little over 1%. Service is great. They are very adept at kind of hand holding you through each of the processes as much or as little as you want. We are built on service here at IAMS. They're built on service at IAMS Wealth as well. They've got a great team over there. So I'm going to close that poll out. I see that a few of you voted, a few of you didn't. If you were unable to vote or you need some help or have a question before you you have that 5-minute conversation with them, don't hesitate to give me a call. My name is Steve Murray, 800-255-5055. I'd be glad to chat with you about that. There's a tremendous opportunity in the wind with being able to handle other than just the insurance side of your clients' portfolios. I would say too that there are going to be some challenges coming up as the DOL gets a little bit more involved with getting, they've enacted the rule that Trump's DOL fabricated before he left, and they've got that all put in place. They're going to add more and more to that over the coming years, and it's going to behoove, I think, a lot of folks that are insurance only either to have a place that they refer that business or to do that business themselves. Of those two choices, obviously, the better option is doing it yourself. And the team over at IAMS Wealth can, if you're just looking at getting your 65, they can really help make that as easy and give you the support along the way that you need. So I'm going to close this poll out, which I thought I'd done and I had not. I apologize for that. We're going to get moving here because I want to make sure that you know about our Top Producer Summit. Qualifications start at 12/1. It run, and that's 12/1 of 20, and it runs through 6/30 of 2022. A cool 18 months to do 4.5 million of annuity production. It's kind of a dollar for dollar on most annuity business. 1.5 on SPL to 1, so you get 1.5 credits for every $1 of SPL business. Your target premium life, your targets count 11.5 to 1. For that. So we want to make this very qualifiable. As you can see, you've got 18 months to 4.5 million, just crazy good. You're going to see we're going to some nice places. We're going to start at Rome, and we're going to cruise down the Italian coast and cruise back up through Croatia, Montenegro, Greece, and end up back in Venice, Italy. That's for you and your guest. Everybody's going to have a balcony to go out on and enjoy as we go across around the coastlines. Plenty to see there, and it's at the concierge level, so it'll be 24-hour drinks, food, anything you need to make sure that you and your guests are comfortable throughout. So we'd love to have you join us. It's going to be a great time. The cruise goes out late August of 2022. You've got until June 30th of 2022 to qualify. So let's get on and now get to the heat of our deal with Dave Pimper. As I mentioned in introduction, Dave has been working with Social Security for many, many years, got the business in the early 80s, over 500 plus seminars, many of those in the last 10, 11 years on Social Security. He is a radio expert. He's put together Retirement Boss Radio, which is a great way to get yourself in front of clients and to establish your credibility in your area. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. But the heart of the matter today is talking about Social Security claiming. And Dave Pimper has made himself an expert over the last 11, 12 years on Social Security claiming. There's not many questions that you could ask Dave that he couldn't answer for you on Social Security claiming, but more to the point, because there's other places that maybe you can get some of that knowledge. More to the point is that Dave is out there doing just what you're doing, meeting clients, talking to prospects, and so he can help you with the sales and marketing part of your business as well. So it's going to be a great webinar today. We're fortunate to have Dave aboard, not just for this webinar, but in general, to help our producers meet their goals. So I'm going to turn it over to Dave right now, and Dave's going to spend probably about the next 35, 40 minutes talking about Social Security claiming and also giving you a couple ideas on how you can introduce that newfound knowledge and an expertise to grow your business and to help your current clients. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the coach, Mr. Dave Pimper.
Steve, thank you very much. You're very kind. I guess when you've been in business for as long as I have, you feel sorry for me.
Not true, Dave. You know
I
that.
know. Yeah, but this July the 9th, 40 years. That's when I started. Was 40 years ago in the business, and I really do enjoy it. I enjoy the production end of it. I enjoy the marketing end of it, and I enjoy coaching. And that's what we're doing today is coaching you up on Social Security maximization. Now, Steve, I will say this. We're going to be done at quarter till today. Just let you know, that's 30 minutes.
Okay. Yep.
And that's how long this is going to take. So at quarter till, it will open up the poll and give or take a minute on that, but open up the poll if people would like to go and talk to me for 15, 20 minutes, a little bit about their kind of their Social Security interest and or maybe from their marketing interest also. So I've had over 500 and actually it's 540 exactly public seminars, and we've mailed out millions and millions of types of mailers and actually had a catalog business at one time, and when I was still in the financial advisory business. So I really enjoy marketing. And I'll tell you what happens is Social Security, which I didn't really know until 29 years into my career, 11 years ago, but I buckled down and hunkered down and learned Social Security claiming, which is a complicated subject. But what I do is coach it and try to make it easier to understand. And I have here, why you, the advisor, should understand Social Security. How much money do we make from showing Social Security? Nothing. But where it leads to the product and to the assets, it's a big, big thing. If you have any questions, certainly just type it in, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you when we're at the end here. So this is from Sarah O'Brien from CNBC. Most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. And I'm reading this word for word because it's important information. A majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security. And get a load of this, even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study concluded. If you're working with the pre-retired or just retired like I am, that demographic crowd, absolutely not knowing Social Security puts you at a disadvantage, especially if you're competing against someone who really understands Social Security. SimplyWise is a financial website. They're a gatherer of data and analytics, but they came out with an article back last September. A Social Security test only 1 in 300 seniors could ace. But I thought, how about advisors? I took it. I aced it. Got 5 right. But there's 5 questions here. I want you to take those questions. I want you to take those questions, this quiz with me, because I will tell you right now, most advisors won't know those 5 answers. We'll see how much you know about Social Security. Okay, so here we go. Ready to take the test? Here's the first question. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim your benefits? What age to maximize it? Say it right now. We'll write it down. Here we go. At what age? Not full retirement age. It is age 70. Little tricky. Next question. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Write down your question. You got it written down? Okay, ready? Here's the answer. 60. Age 60. That's the earliest age you can take if you're not disabled. Okay, third question. Well, let's go to the third question. I'm sorry about that. Go. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Listen to the question. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yep, she does, or he does. So if you want to take spousal benefits, you can't do that unless your spouse is already taken their benefits. Question 4. Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Okay, here's the answer. It says if 4 stipulations are met, and to get this question right, you got to guess 2 of them or answer 2 of them. What has to be met? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Ready? Got your 2 down? Hopefully. Here's the answer. First of all, your married lasted 10 years or longer. Not X, but the person receiving the benefits is currently unmarried. The third thing is the X needs to be at least 62, and the divorce was 2 years ago or longer, so more than 2 years. If you got 2 of those, I'm going to give it to you right. But those are the 4 that needs for you to use your divorce X just as if you're still married to them in the eyes of Social Security. Last question: are you eligible for survivor benefits if you're divorced? So you're divorced. Can you get survivor benefits off your ex? Here's the answer. Yeah, you can. And those same stipulations are meant. I used to say you got to get the 2 of the 4, but we just went with the 4. That was just the slide before. So that's it. That's the 5 slides. How'd you do? Did you get them all right? If you did, no, you don't need much help on Social Security. You're a pro. If you got 4, you're still a pro. If you got 3 or less, yeah, you know what? Or if you guessed on them and got 3 or less, yeah, probably need some coaching. And I will say this: coaching with security for me is fun. It's a very, very complicated subject. 27, 2,700 rules. It's a government bureaucracy. No one thinks about Social Security until probably the age of 55, because a lot of people didn't think it was going to be around, but it is. And what you could do is with IAMS, Insurance Agency Marketing Services, that's the FMO that I do my coaching through, and I work through them solely, proprietary for my coaching. But having someone help you through Social Security maze is extremely important. I wish I had someone like that with myself. I didn't. But I will say this: you can do it through 2 different marketing programs that is paid for by IAMS. IAMS pays me to coach through Social Security seminars, $2,500. A lot of places are opening up more now. We just had our very first one. Wrote my first piece of business last week on the first workshop. Had 10 appointments from that workshop. Just had a guy that came in with 1.7 million yesterday from that, and I wasn't able to get it to a second appointment. But just if you're swinging, that's the big thing. Okay. The second thing is coached up and paid for by IAMS through Retirement Boss Radio. Be your own radio host, and the marketing. I mean, it's a pay to play, but anywhere from say $3,000 to maybe $4,500 per month all in. But I coach you up on Social Security, or just a la carte for $800, 4 coaching sessions a la carte. But different ways. 2 are paid for through marketing to get in front of people. One's just a la carte. If you don't know Social Security and you're working the pre-retired or just retired crowd, wow, you maybe need to reconsider that, because it's a big deal when it comes to income planning for those retired folks. Janet Herron in USA Today from 2019 says doing this one thing with your Social Security can mean losing $100,000 in retirement. So look at the bullet point number 1. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Bullet point 2. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household. Why? It's over their lifetime, because over their lifetime they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Overall, only 4% of retirees took it at the right time, took it at the optimal age. Most of the time because they just didn't know when to take it. Little history lesson on Social Security. Started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, kind of part of the New Deal, called the Social Security Act. First check was in 1940. 65 was the only age you could take Social Security in the beginning. Of course, now you can take as early as 62, as late as 70. The average age way back when was only like 62 for living, and the benefit didn't start to 65. There used to be 15 people working for every retired. Now there's less than 3 people working for every retired. Cost of living, on a monthly basis or yearly basis, started in 1975. There was no taxation until 83, and now up to 85 of your Social Security benefits, if you're above certain income brackets, called provisional income, can be taxed. There's not a lot of big changes in Social Security. It's a very much of a political hot potato. But the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 was the last time there was major changes. File and suspend. The coordinating spousal benefit was phased out in 6 months. Restricted application, the twin sister of that, is still around, but you have to be, the person claiming it has to be born before January the 2nd of 1954. So they got to be about 67 and a half years old to be able to do that. How important is Social Security? Vary. Get a load of this. 59% of all retirees count their Social Security benefit as to be a major source of income. More major, than um, 401ks, pensions, savings, etc. Big deal. Yeah, so if you don't know anything about Social Security, not a darn thing, this slide is going to kind of set up Social Security for you. So what happens is there's 3 important dates or ages to Social Security. There's the full retirement age, depending on when you were born and how old you are, between 66 and 67. Not going to be in today's day and time. It's not. It's going to be somewhere between 66 to 67. If you can take as early as 62 at a discount, you take the money now, but it's discounted, or you can wait as long as age 70. You don't get the money. That's the negative, but the benefit is it's much bigger. There's only 8 years you can take Social Security for the individual benefit. It's from 62 to 70. That's the basic Social Security 101. Can it have a huge value for you? You darn right. But I always say if you claim at your right time, not the right time, not a right time, but collect at your right time. That's very important. The trust fund, this is actually a year delayed, but the trust fund actually has $2.8 trillion in it. It still ran a surplus. 2 years ago it was $3 billion. In 2019 it was $6 billion. Probably ran a deficit for the first time since 1983 in 2020 with the pandemic. People getting laid off, people getting furloughed, people getting job, just moving all around, relocating, etc. People needed money. A lot of people took Social Security that wouldn't have. I bet it does run a deficit. That means it starts getting into the trust fund. Will the trust fund run out of money? Yeah, they claim in about 13, 14 years. All kinds of things you can do, but it's going to take some kind of taxation and probably some kind of increase in some of the full retirement age or age 70 or when you start collecting. I would guess that will be the case with Social Security. Now, how's Social Security funded? It's funded by payroll taxes, the majority. A little bit by taxes and a little bit by interest on the bonds. What that $913 billion of payroll taxes. The 6.2% you pay, the 6.2% your employer pays. That's 613 billion, almost a trillion, buys special issue government bonds, which are almost automatically borrowed on, cashed in, and then IOU'd by the U.S. government. So, is it a pay-as-you-go system? Yes. When you hear about the trust, you hear about the Social Security going bankrupt, they mean the trust fund. There would still be between 75 and 80% of all of your income would come in, even if the trust fund went bankrupt. Remember, it hadn't ran a deficit since 1983. It probably will in 2020. We'll see. They normally come out with it in about May, but it's already June without them having the 2020 figures just because of the government being behind on so many things because of the coronavirus pandemic. Does the USA borrow and issue IOUs? You darn right they do. But remember, that backing of Social Security, it's the full faith and credit of the United States government, same full faith and credit that the U.S. currency has. There's nothing gold or silver, bonds backing currency. It's the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, same as Social Security. So I don't have a concern. And it's not a Ponzi scheme. Just because it doesn't have a hard backing, it has a backing of the U.S. government, full faith and credit. Yeah, I'm very, very confident Social Security is going to be around for years and years. So how do you figure out your Social Security benefit? You need 40 orders of coverage called 40 credits, Social Security credits. Each credit means if you make $1,470 in any quarter or any year, you get a credit. You can earn up to 4 credits in the 4 quarters. It could all be made in one quarter. So if you make $1,470 times 4, $5,880, your 4 quarters are credits are met the first quarter. You can't earn any more than 4 credits in a year. So you need 10 years of work minimum. Doesn't have to be continuous, but you need 10 years of work. The more you make, the bigger those credits are. Now there are limits, like 142,800. If you make above that, you know what? You don't have to put into security. You do Medicare, Medicaid, but you don't Social Security. So look at those 40 quarters of coverage. You need 40. If you don't have 40, you can't get a Social Security benefit. It's earnings over your working career, and it's inflation adjusted. They take your 35 highest inflation adjusted earnings years. And it's something called AIM, and they also throw in cost of living in there. So it's a complicated mess. I did it longhand once. I'll never do it longhand again. We do it all by software and computers now. That's how you figure out your Social Security benefit. Don't you love that dog? My favorite picture has a bone tie on. That's a little joke too. 1 year birthday. Full retirement age. If you're born from 43 to 54 in those years, your full retirement age is 66. I was born in 55. It's 66 years and 2 months. If you're born in 56, 66 years and 4 months. It stair steps up 2 months up to 1960 or later, 67. Cannot be later than 67. A newborn today is 67. That's full retirement age, where you get your full benefit or your normal benefit. All of your benefit, not discounted. Now, if you take early, remember it's discounted. Look at if you're 66 and take it 62, it's discounted 25%. If your full retirement age is 67, meaning you're born 1960 or later, you take a 62, it's discounted 30%. It's discounted. If you take before full retirement age, it's discounted. You get it now, that's a benefit, but it's discounted for life. How about if you wait longer? Yeah. It grows 8% guaranteed a year. 8%. And remember, if you throw cost of living, cost of living last year was 1.3. Inflation's starting to go rampant. They're looking at 5% inflation figures for next year. Well, 8%, you throw 5%, all of a sudden it grows 13%. 13%. If you've got a $3,000 benefit, it's going to grow almost $400. That's a lot. Inflation, that'll be the highest inflation in 13 years if we have above 4% inflation. And I think we will. Look at how much houses cost right now. Look at how much lumber costs right now. Look at how much um, cars cost right now. Look how much oil. Oil is almost $3 a gallon. For the cheapest gas in Nebraska. Costs have gone up. Okay. Now I will say this: if you know the individual benefit, which we just went over, and then we're going to talk about the spousal benefit. We're going to talk about divorced spouse, surviving spouse, and restricted application of coordinating spousal assets. If you know those 5 areas and you know them inside and out, which we coach on and really talk a lot about it, I feel like you can answer 80, 85%, maybe even 90% of all the questions that are thrown at you. Now, do I go through them much slower when we're coaching? Of course. Do I role play and go through much more insight than a webinar like today? Of course. But you got to ask yourself, if you're working that pre-retired or just retired crowd, how could you not know Social Security? I mean, it dumbfounds me. It's the biggest source of income for over half of the people in the United States of America. You need to know of how it's calculated, and we do that. If you sign up for coaching, you get some free software for 3 months. If you want to pay for it after that, it's like $30 a month. But you know what? We give you a lot of attachments. You get our PowerPoint that we use in our regular seminars. That's what we coach off of. You have the availability to contact me not just during coaching but afterwards. And remember, there's 3 ways to do it. It's paid for by 2 marketing programs. Social Security seminars, which are hot right now. We're putting on a lot of folks throughout the U.S. right now. People are eager for that information and education. Retirement Boss Radio, being your own radio host. We just put on a person, and it was $3,300 all in on a pretty good sized market. Just had his very first recording here last week. It's a recorded show, but we coach up Social Security there for 3 sessions, or you can a la carte it. So Dave, I don't want to pay for the marketing. I want coaching from you. We give 4 coaching sessions for $800, and the ability to then contact me. I give you attachments, etc. So let's talk about the Social Security benefit as far as when it comes to spousal benefits. Okay. So here it is in easy terms. Dave's PIA, that stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at full retirement FRA. So you'll hear PIA at FRA, primary insurance amount at the full retirement age. PIA at FRA. Government loves acronyms, Social Security in particular. Dave's PIA is $2,400 at 66. Age, Amy's is $1,000. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy has an option: all of her $1,000 or half a day's, whichever is higher. What's she going to get? Half a day's. That's $1,000 of her benefit and $200 of a top-up benefit. That's done automatically. The government does that for you. How about Dave doesn't want to take his benefit? So Amy takes hers. Dave doesn't take his. He waits until later. So 67, 68, 69, or as late as the latest of 70. How much can Amy take? All of hers? Can't take half a day's until he takes his. Remember that? Remember that question, that quiz question? So she can only take 1,000. But at the age of full retirement age, now she can take half of his. Now let's say it grew to, because of delayed retirement credits, of 3,400. She can't take half of 3,400. She can only take half of 2,400 because you don't get spousal benefits on delayed retirement credits. How about Dave? I'm going into more depth here just on this one. How about Dave? Is 2,400, but she never got her. How many quarters? How many credits does she need? 40. She only has 37. How much benefit does she get? Well, if Dave doesn't claim, she gets none. When Dave claims, she gets all of hers, none, or half a day's, half of 2,400. She gets 1,200. See how the spinning plates that happen? And every divorced spouse, survivor, they all have different kind of detours like that. If you have any question, certainly just type it in and we'll answer them here at the end. And we'll be done here in about 5 minutes and then open the poll up to see if you'd like to have an appointment and maybe sit down on the phone for 15, 20 minutes. But divorce spouse benefit, remember the stipulations? Remember those stipulations? Yeah. Here's the stipulations. The marriage lasted at least 10 consecutive and continuous years, 10 or more. The spouse receiving the benefit is currently unmarried. The exit at least 62 happened at least 2 years ago, the divorce. Why is that important if those four things line up? Because in the eyes of Social Security, you can use your ex as if you're still married to them. Why is that important? Many times there's more benefits, many more benefits to married couples than single couples. How about survivor benefits? My wife says no one ever gets out of here alive. Yeah, we all die physically, don't we? Maybe not spiritually, but we all die physically. We're buried or cremated. Dave and Amy are married. We're not going to discount here. Say they're both over full retirement age, so they're both 66 or over. Dave's benefit is $2,000. Amy's is $1,200. Who normally dies first? Guy. Dave dies first. Amy can keep her $1,200, or she can drop hers and jump up to Dave's. What's she going to do? Jump up to Dave's. Is this done automatically? No. You have to notify. Also, what happens on survivor benefits, and I'm not going to go into it, but you can do a file and suspend with a survivor benefit, not individual, but with a survivor. So let's say that the guy dies and guy dies and his benefit's bigger. His is 2,000 and Amy's is 800, or 2,000 and 1,200. Yeah, she can go in and she can take either the widow's benefit or her benefit and let the other one grow. And even though she's taking it early at 60, it's a 28.5% discount, only gets 71.5%. But when she turns on that other benefit, if it's over full retirement age, she gets all of the benefit. No reduction for her. File and suspend. Pretty cool. A lot of people don't do that. You have to ask for it. Coordinating spousal benefits, called restricted application. Have to do it before January 2nd in 1954 for the person taking the benefit. Now, this gets complicated, but just to show you how the neat thing, less than 1% of the people that this can benefit take advantage of it. Dave and Amy are both full retirement age. Dave's primary insurance amounts $2,400. Amy's PIA is $1,000. Amy files for her $1,000. Dave restricts his application. He starts it and stops it. But in the eyes of Social Security, he started, so now he can go out and take a spousal benefit. So as Dave's is growing, the 8% guaranteed retirement can be all the way up to 70. He can reach out and take half of Amy's $500. So Amy takes $1,000, he gets the $500, which is really free money. That's $6,000 a year. For 2 years, $12,000. 3 years, $18,000. Free money. Less than 1% of the people do a restricted application that can. Why? They don't even know it's available. And I go into much more in depth if we're coaching one-on-one. What can't the Social Security personnel do? They can't give you advice. Is that wild? When I got into the business, I talked to my banker, my lawyer, who does my trust work for my clients, and my CPA, all within 10 years of retirement. None of them knew anything about Social Security. I said, when someone needs advice on Social Security, who do you tell them to go to? All of them said, if they need advice, go to the Social Security Administration, who can't give advice. They can only give your highest benefit now. Look at this, right from the POMS manual, their program operational manual system. What's it say there? Number D, provide enough information so that claimants can form choices, but don't give advice. They can just give you facts, not advice. I always say consider all of your income streams. There's the 5 pillars of income. I think Social Security is the most flexible, claiming at your rate time. And that survivor benefit, when you start thinking about break even, don't just do individual. But wages, pensions, income producing assets, RMDs on traditionals and social. Social is the most flexible. That number 3, when I'm fact finding here, I get all their assets. And that's what happens with Social Security, is that you really uncover everything they have. When to claim your Social Security? Gee, there's just a lot to think about because there's so many different types of benefits. There's just a lot to consider of when the right time to claim is. Remember, I said there's three ways, and we'll talk about that because we're going to have a poll up here just in a second. If you'd like to mark yes, that means that you know one of the marketing directors with IAMS will call and actually get us, my administrator on the phone at the same time and line up a 20, 25-minute phone call to see if maybe Social Security could help your business or one of the marketing programs in being coached up there could help your business. But seminar marketing, retirement boss radio, being your own radio is not nearly as expensive as most people think, but the impact is, I mean, I just got 5 appointments last week from radio. It's very, very strong from a marketing standpoint. We coach you up in Social Security. 4 Social Security coaching sessions are a la carte. If you don't want marketing, then but you still have availability to myself. Okay? There's an old adage that says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop and tomorrow never comes. If you heard something today that you said, you know what? Maybe it's about time. You know what? I learned when I was 54 years of, or 55 years of age. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I did it learning it myself. But you can have me coach you. You can ask questions. You can email me. I always say, use me, don't abuse me. But you got full availability to me after we're done coaching too, to ask questions about Social Security or that fact. Just marketing and retirement planning in general. But Social Security is key. We're going to go to the poll right now, and if you mark yes, you'll get a call. Please take it. Don't mark yes and not take the call. Don't mark yes and not set up the appointment. I'm just going to tell you, everybody's busy. You guys are contacting people. You're out there in the trenches. You're knocking on. Well, we don't knock on doors anymore because I guess that's illegal. But as we used to. But we're working to find those leads and those prospects. But Social Security, understanding that, can open a lot of doors for you. So as you're contemplating, hopefully whether to mark yes, but yes or no, Steve, I'm going to turn it over to you. We're going to answer some questions, and we'll finish the webinar.
Thanks, Dave. Good stuff as always. We have a great group today with a few questions here. We talked enough, I think, about radio, and I mean, it seemed like when you said I got 5 appointments, we had like 2 or 3 questions pop up about radio. So that was good. How does that rank? I mean, what's your normal and a normal Sunday or Saturday when you do your radio show? How many appointments do you normally get?
Yeah, it's a Sunday. 2 to 3. That's the normal. And
Yeah.
I tell you something. I had something happen to me last week, Steve. It's just one of those things. I mean, I can't tell you why, but you know what? I look back 4.5, well, over 4 months ago was the last time I didn't get an appointment from a weekly radio show. And last week, not last week, but the week before, yeah, I got none. And it's like,
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
And then this week I got 5. So again, the average there is 2.5 per week. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had as many as 9 set appointments. They're set on my calendar. I'm telling you what, it's just like Christmas every Sunday when I see all, because they come across my email. And I tell you something, it's exciting. I had a really good radio appointment on last Friday, almost 400,000 going into a second appointment. It's on called an in service, just meaning you can work with monies from a 401k while they're still working there. He's 62, and as they left, they said, "We just love listening to you on radio." They had heard like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, and they decided to give me a call. I tell you what, if you've never considered radio marketing, and I coach you up because about a third of all of that, the guy came in mainly because of a Social Security question, but did they bring in all their statements, which we always ask them to bring in they did, and they're real concerned the market's going to fall, and that's why another reason they came in to maybe look at something more conservative. So it's exciting, it really is.
I had 2 or 3 people interested in hearing the radio show, so I just did a quick chat to everybody. It's www.retirementbossradio.com. So if you go there, go down towards the bottom, you'll see Dave has podcasts, and My experience, other folks do podcasts as well. They all sound great. I know sometimes you say, "Well, that's Dave. I'm not going to sound like that." The production work that they do, and the fact that it's taped and you get a chance to re-say something maybe that you weren't pleased with, you just cut it and re-say it. It certainly makes for a very polished sounding radio production, and the production job that they do is very strong as well. It's all part of that. And then you don't necessarily show somebody, but like when you get your emails, Dave, it'll be like when the call came in, client's name, a little bit about the call, why they want the appointment. So you get pretty good breakdown of why you're going to be seeing them. You follow up with a phone call if you want, and or email, phone call if that's the way that you do it, and you're going to get most of those people report for their appointments. Am I correct on that, Dave? You have many
That's correct.
no-shows?
No, no, out of 10 appointments, we probably will have one. That's a no show. But most everybody, and we have a way to we get a hold of them right away. We give them an email right away with a map. We call them the day before. I mean, just the considerate follow up you should have with any hot prospect. Yep.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yep.
I see too. We haven't had as many questions as I thought about seminars. I think that's a little bit of a hangover from the last 12 months. I mean, seminars, face-to-face seminars, where we've had the most luck with Social Security, we just haven't been able to do those. But the good news is that areas are opening back up. I was watching the news this morning. It sounds like California is opening back up, and
Mhm.
most of the other states are opening back up. So we are right now planning the face-to-face seminars on a rapid basis. We canceled 17 of them back in last March, early March of last year because of the pandemic. And so you can tell that there's a lot of interest in that. And the only way you get that level of interest is by having success. And there's no doubt Social Security claiming seminars have been one of the most effective ways that many of our producers have found to get in front of clientele. So if that's of interest, by all means, check yes on that poll. Dave and his team manage that. Retirement Boss Radio, obviously, they manage that as well. There are a few questions that, as you went through things today, Dave, that came up, questions about Social Security claiming. I'm going to guess if you what I'm going to suggest is if you have a question, Dave will be glad to answer that. Just put yes on that. We'll set up a call with you and Dave. It's going to be David Corwin calling you, and he'll call you probably within the next 2 hours to set up that appointment with Dave. Dave's calendar, the way that it works, usually within two days or so, we were able to get everybody in, at least for that initial consult with Dave, which lasts anywhere from 5 minutes to 15, 20 minutes, depending on how much information that you're looking for. So really valuable time spent. Great way to, things are getting back to normal. We're seeing it in our business. Our business has catapulted here over the last 2 or 3 months, and we fortunately remain pretty steady even throughout the pandemic. So there's a lot of people interested in what you have to say right now and meeting you and talking to you. So let's take advantage of that by getting you in front of more people. And Social Security claiming has been the best. We've done seminars on the 8 retirement mistakes. We've done seminars on, what's happening with the new tax laws. Yeah, there's been nothing that compares to seminars on Social Security claiming in terms of numbers and in terms of conversion to business. So great opportunity if you're looking for that. I hope you'll look at radio. I think people are scared of that. Don't be, if anyone can do it, or I would say 95% of folks can do it and do a great job at it and be very, very, very successful and really build their reputation within the area. Dave, is there anything, I know that you've got some appointments you're trying to get to here. Is there anything that you want to add before we close up today?
I will say this. Um, to learn Social Security, is it easy? No, I wouldn't say it's easy. If it's easy, everybody would be doing it. Is it profitable? Extremely. I think most advisors, most insurance agents, they look at Social Security as how do I make money from Social Security? You know, I mean, there's it's not like a financial product where you make 5%. I mean, it isn't like that. But only about 1 in 10, maybe even about 10%, let's say, of all advisors, insurance agents, lawyers, bankers, brokers, Merrill Lynch, MetLife, Northwestern Mutual, Edward Jones, UBS, Morgan Stanley. I'm talking about everybody, throwing everybody. Very, very few financial professionals in our business really understand Social Security. And if you're that guy, and I am, I am. I have expertise in the area. But if you're that guy or gal, you're an anomaly. I mean, Steve, you know this. Tell about that article that came out in, I think it was Financial News or News, but talked about if the advisor
Sure.
understands Social Security, they'd be willing to change. I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, I think you kind of approach it from a different direction. How many people would make a change if they have an advisor that doesn't understand Social Security for one that does, and that was 77%. So, sometimes I don't think we put enough emphasis on how important people see their Social Security benefits and how at least that they have a basic understanding that it's not just as easy as, hey, I'm 62, let me claim my Social Security. They understand that there are some that it's not a flat landscape. There's some valleys and peaks to be considered
That's right.
in the Social Security business, and they need help with that. And so if someone can't provide that to them, they're going to look around for someone that can. And if they find that person, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to leave their advisor for just that knowledge. Of 77% chance, that's
That's
in
high.
my mind somewhat frightening, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Well, and
Yeah,
so yeah, but the last thing I will say is that Social Security. I mean, it truly, to me, I don't think there's been anything, maybe besides some marketing things. Like, I mean, it certainly has made a big difference to me of Social Security workshops or workshops in general, or Retirement Boss Radio. But as far as a financial strategy, Social Security, interesting enough, which I do not get paid for, but the way that we market that and the way that we fact find, I think that it is a great arrow in anybody's quiver when it comes to production. So we have a lot of yeses. There's just only a couple that haven't voted, and we'd love to say yes. I'd love to talk to as many people as I could, but I'll tell you what, when we're done for in 15, 20, 25 minutes, you'll know more than when you came into that conversation a little bit just about how Social Security could help your business, or maybe how Social Security with marketing could help your business.
absolutely. Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Dave is a great font of information because he does what you do and he's been doing it for so long. He understands your business, and you're going to get something good out of that phone call for sure. So, and I see that most of our folks that have voted, there's about three that have not. Most that have voted have requested a few minutes with you, Dave. So I'm not surprised by that at all. You always do a great job on the webinars, helping people understand what's important that they might be missing a little bit in their practice. So thank you all for joining us here today. Thank you as well, Dave. I know you've got a busy day with appointments, so I appreciate you taking a few minutes out for our group. And
Oh, you bet.
yeah, it's just the value that you brought to our group over the years in terms of helping them, especially around Social Security claiming and radio and seminars in general, has been really beneficial. So I thank you for that. Thank you as well to all of you folks that take some time out of your business. I know we're getting in the summer months and everybody's kind of itching to maybe get out and travel, but yet you take the time to join us today to learn a little bit more about Social Security. I want to tell you that we have a real bias here at IAMS towards helping folks that are looking for ways to grow their business. Service is a key to our business, but we know that a key to your business is finding new ways to meet prospects and to find better ways to help your current clients to maximize their retirement income. Social Security is a great way to do it, and your recognition of that is stellar. And so we want to make sure that we're here to help you. So if you have something, I did chat over our number, but it's 800-255-5055. Most of you know that because you call us regularly. For those of you that don't call us regularly, hope you put us on your speed dial because we'd love to help you grow your life, annuity, and managed money business here at IAM. So appreciate your time today. Thank you, Dave, as well.
You
Let's
bet.
have a great finish to our sales week, and look forward to chatting with each of you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.